everyone and welcome to JournalForGills. My name is Lewis and in today's episode of JFG Meets we have former Gills captain and League Two title winner Adam Barrett on the show. Obviously, unfortunately, due to the current coronavirus pandemic, we were apart when having the chat, so it did have to be a phone interview, but do stay tuned for inside stories on Adam getting into the game, having the time of his life at Southend, joining Gillingham, life under Martin Allen, lifting the League Two title, that playoff final back at Southend, finishing his playing career in Essex, life so far at Millwall, his managerial ambitions and much more. Enjoy. So now joined by League Two title winning captain Adam Barrett. Adam, thank you for coming on today, I appreciate it.
No problem, pleasure.
We'll start off and we'll crack on pretty quickly then. How did you get into football? How did it all begin?
I suppose I had an elder brother, 2 years older than myself. And my dad was also quite keen. He played a little bit when he was younger, so I think it was just sort of in the family really, and just from a young age I was at the park with my dad and just sort of fell in love with the game as far back as I can remember. So really my dad and my brother are the two that sort of got me into it, and I just followed my brother everywhere and he seemed to like it, so that was the way it was.
So you don't know any different really then, I suppose?
No.
That's fair enough. And in terms of getting into sort of where your career went, what was it like in terms of getting into academies and stuff like that? Can you tell that story?
So you used to have district football when I was growing up, so you play for your local team and then you get picked for your county.
Yeah.
So it was East Anglia Boys and South East Essex were the two district teams, and then you just got scouted through clubs like that. So I went on to Leighton Orient, got scouted playing for the district, and then got offered my YTS scheme, and that's so like your apprenticeship, and that's where it all sort of started for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and then obviously you did get into the pro game and you spent some, like you say, Orient yourself, and you had a bit of moving around like some Plymouth, Mansfield, etc. But we'll crack on to the big ones. And back in 2004, obviously you signed for Southend, being a fan of the club, I believe. How did that come around then?
Well, I'd had 2 years, I was at Bristol Rovers, and I had 2 years, I was a young captain. I was captain there for 2 years, which I really enjoyed. Yeah. And it was a good club, a lot of good people, and Bristol just offered me a new deal, and Southend just come out of the blue really. I wasn't expecting it. Paul Brush was the assistant manager, who was my youth team manager at Orient a few years earlier, so he just got in contact, said would I be interested, and as soon as the call was made, it was my mind was made up really. I was, it was a club which I used to watch as a kid with my mates. It was a tough decision because my wife was really happy down in Bristol. Yeah. She had a really good job down there. We didn't have any kids at the time, and she loved the life. I was offered less money to come back to Southend. Wow. And I was leaving. Like I said, I was captain at the club. So, but as soon as Southend made the approach, and she knew that it was my desire to play for them, and it was my passion to go back. And she was from the area as well. She's from Southend, but she was happy. But we decided to move, and thankfully, she supported me, and we come back. And like I said, it was a place. It just felt right. Always felt right, and I just felt so comfortable coming back. Yeah,
no, that's good. It obviously paid off, and it's good to hear that. Obviously, it happened because you went on to have some good times there, and obviously you had a promotion pretty early on after joining. How special was the squad, and how was that promotion?
Yeah, it was my first season, and things just seemed to click for me personally as well. Coming to the team, I got 11 goals that season, and it just, it was just a really good group of guys, talented group, of real work ethic about us. The management, Steve Tilsham, Paul Brush were excellent to play for. Made us very relaxed and an enjoyable place to go in and work. And to go back, like I said, in my first season for my hometown club, the club I supported, and for us to go and get promotion, we had an LDV Vans final, which is the Johnson's Paint, and so we had a final in that, and to go to Cardiff twice back in the playoffs and go up, it was it was a fantastic first season for me back at the club.
And then obviously going up straight away, what were the aims going into the following year? Because I'm assuming it went a lot more successfully than you could have imagined.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, with going up, I think your first thought is to stabilise them as players. You think, right, let's just establish ourselves now in the next division. We knew we were a good team. We had a great spirit. and we had a bit of quality in there. But if you would have said to us that we're going to go up and win the league the following year, I don't think anyone would have believed that. I think it was the bookies' favourites to get relegated, and we took the next step up, all in our stride. We had like I said, the age of the squad was good because everyone was at a good age where they was hungry and wanted to progress in their careers. Gaffer brought in a couple of experienced lads like Sean Gota. It was fantastic for the centre forwards, and we had people like Spencer Pryor around. But we was all, I say, the core of the team was really at mid-20s. Coming into late 20s, all coming into really the peak of their careers, and also all of us were hungry to do well. So it was again another tremendous season, and the way the club was at that time, it was just on a real roll.
And then obviously in the Championship, didn't really go to plan. But how hard was it?
I think it was difficult because the first half of the season we was actually. We was competing, we was doing really well, and we had some great results, and we knew it was going to be difficult. Of course, we was a small club with a small budget in the division. But I think January was the time when I always remember Barnsley went out and strengthened with 5 players, and we didn't manage to do any business in the transfer window. And I think at that level, the strength in depth as a squad was what let us down in the end. Like I said, around Christmas, I think we was just below mid-table and more than holding our own. We got a couple of injuries. Unfortunately, I missed a chunk of the season then with an injury, and we didn't have the strength in depth then in the squad to quite stay up. But it was it was fantastic for the football club to where we'd come from in such a short space of time, and there was a real buzz about the place. But it was difficult. It's a tough league and a lot of good players. And I think looking back now, the club would probably look and say, if we could have strengthened probably in January with a couple of players, I think we would have survived and stayed up.
Yeah. Who knows where they could be now? But it wasn't disastrous. And obviously, like you said, you were doing okay for much of the season, and then back the following year in League One, there was a playoff push. And I think I'm right in saying that you lost to Doncaster and the second leg finished 5-1 after the first one was 0-0. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we had got ourselves back in the playoffs the following season. And to be fair, Doncaster they were one of the best teams I thought in the league that year. They were fantastic, and it was a cracking first leg, a draw, and it was all to play for up at their place. And you talk about little moments in games, and we had a moment just before it was 0-0. We went up their end. James Walker had an open goal and hit the crossbar. They went straight back down our end, and Peter Clark gave a penalty away. So within a space of 2 minutes, we could have gone 1-0 up and we were 1-0 down. And they was a really good passing team at the time. They kept the ball very, very well. And I think it was, looking back now, probably because we went 1 down, we went chasing. Probably went chasing too early, and then we got picked off. And fair play to them, they were excellent that night, and it seemed everything they touched turned to gold. And so it was disappointing, but again, it was another good season. We'd got ourselves back in the playoffs and in the mix again. So it was another, with the first 4 years, especially when I was there, it was things were always on the up with the football club, and we were moving in the right direction.
No, it's funny how those little moments in games, it could have been so different. You speak about England in the World Cup and how Kane squared it to Sterling and all that stuff, but like you say, that's football. I feel like some people I'm talking about changing clubs every year, but you had obviously a long period of time at Southend, and you had a solid season the next year, but the following year seemed to be a bit disastrous, and the relegation came round to League Two. What went wrong there, would you say?
Well, the season after the playoff defeats at Doncaster, it's been well documented at the club at the time, but we ran into financial trouble, and the squad just got dismantled. Really, it started to lose key players, couldn't replace them, and then there was the issue with the financial side of it, players not getting paid, and it was the toughest period of my career. I was captain. It was a club that I loved, club that we'd had so much success for. I was still at a good age where I'd committed my future to the football club, and it just sort of all fell apart really. And it was a real sad sort of year to see. I mean, we couldn't fill the bench. We didn't have enough players to put on the bench, and we had embargoes on us. And it was, like I said, from where we were in such a short space of time, to sort of fall the way we did was, it was horrible. And it was really, really tough. It was tough behind the scenes, and a lot of good people at the club working extremely hard. And unfortunately, it ended in the relegation that season, and it was hard just to concentrate on your football, and I think that was the problem in the end. It became more than football. So it was a sad season to be a part of.
Do you think there was no way you could have stayed on at the club at that point?
Well, the problem is that, at the time I had 2 years left on my deal at the club. Yeah. I just turned 30, and the club was back in League Two, and I'd had a really good 4 years at the football club and built your reputation up. And I had a bit of interest as well from bigger clubs. And unfortunately at the time it was, I don't want to speak bad of the football club because it's, very, very fond of it. But, you had mortgages to pay. I had 2 young children, and I had a family and a mortgage. And I looked at it as well. It was, it was tough, and it was probably now going to be, as I was 30, it was going to be my chance to go and, my last sort of chance to go and get a decent move, and try and crack on again. But it was a real tough year, and one which was, it wasn't very enjoyable, and it was tough leaving, because when I signed my long-term deal there, I never thought I'd be leaving the club. The previous years, 5 years I had I loved it, and I was at home, the family were all happy, and it was a club that was moving forward, and I couldn't have been happier, and I never ever saw myself leaving the club. But in the end, I sort of felt I got forced into a situation where I had to go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that does sound like a shame from your point of view, but.
Yeah.
You stayed pretty local, obviously, as at Palace, and I want to get onto Gillingham pretty quickly, but you dropped down to League One to help out Leyton Orient again with their playoff push. It didn't come off, but did you sort of feel like you had unfinished business there?
Well, not really. It was just a stage at Palace at the time. It was a frustrating one. I thought I'd be going to Tottenham, and that move didn't come, and the Palace one come out the blue, and it was just a frustrating time there. I had a really good pre-season, and then got injured, and then when I broke into the team and just started to settle in the team, I then got concussed away at Middlesbrough, and it was stop start. And it come towards after Christmas, and I just needed to get some games, and the Orient come up. I had Huddersfield or Leyton Orient, and because I was there as a kid, and obviously location as well for my family, and that I really fancied going back there, and maybe a little bit of unfinished business, or it just felt right. So I went there under Russell Slade, Kevin Nugent, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the end of the season, and unfortunately we just missed out on the playoffs. But it was nice to get back out and get regular football, and like I said, finish the season quite strongly. Yeah,
no, absolutely, and obviously some time at Bournemouth as well, being captain. But we'll move to the summer of 2012 and the move to Gillingham. How did that come about?
Well, I went down to Bournemouth. I signed from Palace, and it was just at the wrong stage of my career to go down there. Okay. I was at the wrong age. My family were back here. My mum wasn't well, and I needed to get back. I thought there was rumours of the Southend deal maybe happening, so I thought I might be going back to Southend. And out of the blue, Martin Allen picked the phone up. He tried to sign me when he was at Notts County, and that never happened. And just said, would I be interested? And to be honest, I just had to get back closer to my family. My wife, kids were here in Essex, and like I said, my mum wasn't well, so it just fitted really well. And I went and met Martin and the staff and the chairman, and it just felt good. It felt right, and I was delighted to come back and be a part of what we were trying to do there.
Yeah. And obviously you're named captain there pretty quickly as well. How would you summarise that team? Because I spoke to Danny Codwell pretty recently, and he said the team was incredible.
Yeah, it was weird. It felt like what I had at Southend a few years earlier when I went there. A real good, honest group of players that had experienced promotions. So I had that. You had the Charlie Lees, the Whelpdales at Peterborough, who experienced things. Andy Frampton, who I knew well. Really good characters. Kids had, experienced it with Wimbledon, and then we had good young lads coming through like Bradley Dack, experiencing Stuart Nelson. So when I went there, Dion Burton. So when I went there, it just felt right. A really good group, hard working. The gaffer was brilliant, and Schofield and Muggleton, the goalkeeping coach, they were brilliant. The staff, and I just loved it. It just felt right, fitted straight in. The gaffer, made me skipper, and I was delighted that I had a lot of experience at that stage. Coming back at 32, 33, and I was ready to go and get another promotion, and it was, one of my best, most enjoyable seasons, apart from the Southend era. Gillingham was right up there.
Yeah, and how was that defensive unit? Because I think that played a pretty big role in the success of the team. Because I know it was obviously likes of Tom Flanagan and, like you say, Andy Frampton. And then I think when Leon Legg came in the January, you formed quite a good partnership together.
Yeah, it was, like I said, we had some good plumbing. Framp's a really good friend of mine, good solid pro, good experience. We had Joe Martin, who I really rated Joe. Matt Fish, right back, had done really, really well that season. Young Callum Davis had come in and played well and filled in. Flanagan, obviously he come and had a little loan spell, and then when Leon come in, I think we just complemented each other. Leon, big, powerful, strong lad. Obviously I was alongside him, had a bit more experience, but both of us aggressive, both of us wanted to go and win the ball. And I think we just complemented each other's game, and we had good balance throughout the back four, whoever played, and we was a real solid unit. It was hard to break down. We had Stuart Nelson behind us, who had an excellent season. So I think we, really good characters. Martin Allen gets good characters in. He likes men in his team, and that's what we were. We were a strong, physical team that would go out and run through brick walls for one another, and that's what we did. And especially for the first part of the season, up until just after Christmas, we were sort of steamrolling teams. We just had too much for them. But no, it was a great period to be involved in. It was great to have a buzz around the place. Gillingham was buzzing to get the supporters back through the gates, and we was getting some big crowds, some sellout crowds towards the end of the season. It was just a fantastic season to be involved in, and to go and win the title, only the second in their history, and to be the captain, to go and lift the trophy, and personally have a successful season. It was a really enjoyable time.
And we've all heard some stories, but how was life working under Martin Allen?
It was. I mean, there's loads of stories, but he's a very, very good guy. He was excellent with me. I've got a hell of a lot of respect, and I really enjoyed working for him. He does some things that are off the cuff and a little bit different, but there's a full process behind it. So even though some people look at it as a crazy, but when you get to know him, there's a reason why he's doing it, and very calculated in what he does. And he put together a great side, and the team spirit was unbelievable. We enjoyed it off the pitch as much as we enjoyed it on the pitch, and he was a big part of that. He was the one who built that spirit. He was the one who was in there with us. He was in there with the players, and you felt it. And some of his team meetings were different, to say the least, and he'd bring a bit of humour, but he'd be serious when he had to. And I think the lads just liked him. They just respected him, and we wanted to do well for him. Yeah.
And at what point in the season, maybe not promotion, but at what point in the season did you sort of think we're going to win this league?
I don't know. We set out with, within the dressing room and the management, he set out straight away from day one. He wanted to win the title.
Right.
So there was that drive and ambition from within the group. From day one, we're going to go and win the title, and we're going to go and get promoted. So there was a real belief there, and quite early on. And I think because we started so well, and the way we were sort of just had too much for teams, too much power. I sort of, I'm not one to make predictions, but quite early on the season, I had a feeling myself that we can definitely get promoted, okay. And we're more than good enough to go and win this title. And so I think the belief was there quite early, a couple of months into the season, thinking this could be a special year for us. And I think we made it a little bit hard for ourselves. We had a little bit of a wobble. And we come away from doing what we maybe got a little bit complacent because we were looking so strong. But in the end, I think we were deserved winners and we were the best team in the division.
Yeah, it's good. It does show the sort of the way the squad was, because right now you're saying exactly the same stuff Danny Kedwell said. So it shows everyone's on the same sort of path and had the same beliefs and stuff like that.
The mindset was strong. Like I said, we had strong characters in the group. You mentioned there's myself, Andy Frampton, Danny Kedwell's, Stuart Nelson's, Leon Legg come in, Dion Burton. We had some real strong characters right through the spine, and there was a belief there, and there was a togetherness, which was great.
Do you remember the day against? So obviously there was two main sort of days that we celebrated at the end of that season. The first one was securing promotion against Torquay. How was that day for you?
It was. When you get promoted, it's almost like a bit of a relief.
Yeah.
Because you worked so hard all that year, and then you go and secure it. It's a really good feeling. But we had that ambition to. It was a nice feeling, but it was one of them that we haven't finished yet because we wanted the title.
Yeah.
So it was great, but it wasn't what we were still aiming to get. But yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a great achievement every time you go and get a promotion, because it's over such a long period, and there's so many twists and turns and ups and downs throughout the season and things you've got to deal with. But to get the promotion is fantastic, but I think within the group that wasn't enough for us. Yeah. I know from myself as well, there was a burning ambition. No, we want to go and win the title, and thankfully we went on to do that.
In terms of the day against Wimbledon, the game, obviously a sellout crowd. The day you got to lift the trophy as Gillingham captain. What were the pressures going into the day? Obviously, it's the last chance to win it at home in front of the fans, that sort of thing.
Yeah, there was the pressures there. I mean, it was red hot, and I think that's to jog my memory, but Wimbledon needed a result as well, I think, to stay up. So it was great to come out. It was packed, but there's that pressure, there's that expectation. We'd been the front runners for so long, and the expectation. But I just, it was just one of them. You knew it was going to be a tough game because, like I said, Wimbledon was fighting for their lives, and you knew it was going to be difficult. But it was just one of them days. You just thought we're going to do it today. There was a real belief, and I looked round at the lads and all the work that we'd done. We was determined, and I was determined. Make sure as captain, I'm lifting the trophy in front of a full house at Priestfield at the end of it, and that was the aim, and that was our only goal. And there was only one thought in my head, was that we're going to get the job done today, and thankfully we did. And it was a great occasion. It was great for the chairman. And the management, and Andy Hessentire, director of football, and everyone involved in the football club had worked extremely hard behind the scenes to see the club get back to a level where it at least should be, and have everyone part of that. And the club was on a high, and it was a fantastic day. And
I remember, I think I'm right in saying that you got Player of the Year that season, and in the League Two Player of the Year, League Two Team of the Year as well. Sorry.
Yep.
How would you assess sort of your relationship with the Gillingham fans?
I thought it was a real good one. Like I said, I got voted Player of the Year that year, and in Team of the Year, the PFA. So at 33, I think 33 come at 34. It was, it was, for me, it was great. I think the Gillingham supporters appreciated what I was as a player. I was heart on your sleeve. I led from the front. I never shirked nothing, and I had the experience behind me then of a lot of games. I had 4 or 5 promotions under my belt, and so I think they just appreciated the honesty about my work. We've all got our faults, but every time I went out there, I was 100% committed. And I'd leave everything out on the pitch, and the supporters were great. They were brilliant towards themselves, and I think I give them everything back, and I went back there a couple of years ago, and the reception and the way you get looked after, and that was, much appreciated by myself. I was only there a couple of years, but it's, I've got a lot of fond memories there.
Yeah, I've got brilliant memories of that season. I was only, I think, I must have been 13, something like that. And
right, okay.
I've got the signed shirt on my wall now. I see a signature
on there. But
I always say, I said to Kedwell the other day, my biggest regret is not getting on the pitch that day, because my dad was always like, people get told off for going on the pitch. Everyone's flooding on, so I didn't go, but that's always my biggest regret. But
he kept you back,
did he? Yeah, he did, yeah. But I can't leave talk about Gillingham without mentioning the miss against Stevenage.
Yeah.
Have you been asked about that much before?
Oh, of course I have. That's all I ever seem to get asked about.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's one of them things. It was, even to this day, I still can't believe that it happened. I actually thought it was offside.
Right.
I think everyone sort of stopped and thought, and as it's rolled back, obviously I can't even explain it. Just totally took your eye off the ball, and almost too casual. Thought it was offside. So don't know. It's like I said, it's one of them. You could do it 100 times and not do it again.
Yeah.
So it was disappointing, and thankfully we went on to win that game.
Yeah.
But of course, embarrassing as well. It's your profession. You're not over the park with your mates. Everyone's seeing it, and family, friends, people you don't even know. Your phone's just, everyone's got an opinion on it. Everyone wants to give you a bit of stick on it, and it's not nice. But it's something that you have to take on the chin and get on with it. And the lads had a little bit of a laugh, but that's it. You make mistakes and then you get on with it. And thankfully we won the game. But it was of course at the time it's embarrassing, and I'm still, like I said, people still got to talk about it now. So thanks for bringing it up.
No, sorry about that. But like I say,
right.
you're paid to be a centre half, and I think people have got better memories of you than that. So
that's fine.
And as we won the game, I think people let you off anyway.
Yeah.
I know that was a bit further forward, but was it a bit of a shock to the squad when Martin Allen left, do you think?
It was. It was strange the second season. It just didn't have the feel of what it had before. There was, don't know what it was and couldn't put a finger on it, but we just felt that things weren't quite right. He had a real control in the first season, and it felt that everything was smoothly. And as players, you just get a feeling that things aren't quite right. And unfortunately, it comes to the end, and Martin went. So it was disappointing. Of course it was, because we'd had such a great ride and a real connection as a group over the short period that we was all together. And it almost feels even like the lads, we all talk on a group now and stay in contact. And even in that short period, it was a real bond there. So it was disappointing, but these things happen in football. But was I surprised? A little bit surprised, yes, but we just got the feeling that things weren't quite right. It didn't quite have the same feel about it as it did the year before.
Okay, and obviously, like you say yourself, you weren't there for too long, and obviously Peter Taylor come in. Do you think it's fair to say maybe life wasn't as easy for you personally under Peter Taylor, and obviously going on loan to Wimbledon, etc., and then you moved on?
No, look, I had 2 great years at Gills, and to get the club back up and then stabilise in League One the next year and be captain and hardly miss a game, I thoroughly enjoyed it. At the time, I was 35. Peter Taylor had come in, and I've known Peter a long time. Never played for him, but knew him a long time, and I know that he likes to go with a younger squad. And probably looking back now, it was the right thing to do. Me and Peter had an honest conversation, and I was never one to be standing in people's way. Or he was, we had an honest chat, and he was very, very good with me, and just said, look, what do you want to do? He said, I'm probably looking to bring younger players in now, which was, like I said, I was 35, so I totally understand that. Yeah. I'd almost come to Gillingham and done what I wanted to do. And he just said, look, if you want to go and play, then you're maybe not going to be, I still love you to be here, club captain and lead, but you might not play every week. And at the time, I was like, you know what, I really appreciate that, but I want to go and play.
Yeah.
So no, that was fine. We had a really good conversation, and the club, the chairman were great with me, and so and then the opportunity come up when we were to go and get games, and I was like, yeah, fantastic. The club were fine with me to do it, and I was happy to go. So no, there was no problem whatsoever. Like I said, I'd come to Gillingham and had 2 fantastic years and thoroughly enjoyed it. And at that stage of my career, I'd come there to do what I wanted to do, and the main thing was to make sure we get Gillingham promoted and keep them in the division the next season. So I was more than happy with that.
Well, we've been there ever since, and I think now we're sort of trying to fight towards the top rather than the bottom. So it's obviously been good. That was when John Egan was coming through as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, John Egan was coming through, and then Max Amer was being brought. It's just the way football is. You know, you get to a certain age, unfortunately, you can't. And the club wanted to evolve and go with younger. And I was, like I said, I'm not stupid. I'm not someone who's going to just hang around for the sake of it. And I was more than happy to stay and help lead. But if I had an opportunity to go and play, which because of the previous 2 years had gone well, even though at my age there was quite a bit of interest, so I was like, no, I want to play football. You don't play forever, and your career doesn't last forever, so I wanted to go and make the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously back to Southend. How much did you have to assess everything going back?
It was quite easy, to be honest, going back. Again, before I left Gillingham, there was talk of going back to Southend. It never quite happened. And the chairman's always, I've always been got on well with the chairman there, and he's always been good and good to me. And then the call come in, Phil Brown just says they was interested, and it was a no-brainer. Like I said, I was at the stage of my career to go, but I always wanted to finish my career at Southend. That was my club, and to get the opportunity to go back there. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about anything. It was probably the easiest deal ever been done.
Okay.
And it was Southend want me, brilliant. I'm there. Okay. And I went back, and it was like sort of a fairy tale sort of ending for us. Really, it was fantastic to go back there and get another promotion under my belt. In the playoffs, and to do it at Wembley, it was, I couldn't have asked for any more, to be honest, to go back to the club that I love and get another promotion, my third one with the club.
I was going to say, maybe I'm merging a few questions together here, but in terms of the game at Wembley and the penalty shootout, what do you remember from that day, and were you always going to take a penalty as well? The day was, because at that stage I wasn't sure. I was planning to retire at the end of the season. So it was quite an emotional day for me. Unfortunately, I'd been to Cardiff a couple of times and Wembley was getting built, but I'd never actually played at Wembley. So to go back there at 36, whatever it was, thinking that this could be my last game ever playing for the club that I love, it was quite a special day for me, and I really took it in. I think early on in your career, when you're in big games and finals and playoffs, you just roll on to the next year and you think, the next one's coming, whereas this was probably the first one that I've actually really, really took it all in, really enjoyed it. So it was like I said, it was a great, just fantastic on a selfish point of view, to be there and just soak it all up and enjoy the game, and I did enjoy it. Even though we were looking dead on our feet with 20 seconds to go, but even talking about that now, the goal Joe Pigott scored, and the place just went potty, and then you're into penalties, and it was an emotional roller coaster of a game, but like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Absolutely loved every minute of it. And then the penalty shootout come, and I was always we'd practice all week, and I was keen to take one. I threw my hand up, said I'll have it. So I had no problem taking the penalty. And when it was my turn, people go, how do you feel when it was actually right, you're up, stepping up? I was very, very calm. I didn't have any sort of nerves, just blanked everything out. I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew I was just, confident, weren't going to change my mind, and thankfully, I'm not going to lie, it's a big relief when you see the ball in the net. But it was again a great occasion to be a part of, and really, really special one for myself to enjoy, to have your family there with you as well, and see it. It was a great day. I was going to say you do when you're building up for a single game like that where penalties are a big possibility. You do sort of prepare for stuff like that, so you seem pretty calm going into it.
Yeah, we was prepared. And like I said, I was at a stage of my career. I was just enjoying my football.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it. Weren't a pressure one for me. It was a game to go and enjoy. It was a game to go and embrace, and I loved it. And the only thing with the penalty, probably a little bit in my head when the penalties before me were going, was obviously my links with Southend are so strong, and I've had so many great days, and what I didn't want to do was to go out if I was going to retire and go out on a missed penalty, because that's what people remember. They always remember the not so good things. That's just natural, and I didn't want not my legacy at Southend, but I didn't want to go out. So there was a bit of pressure on the penalty. It wasn't all just calm, but I didn't want to go out and think that I've missed a penalty and people sort of remember you on that. So I was determined to make sure that ball went in the back of the net, to probably give us a little bit more focus. But no, it was a great occasion, and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah. So in terms of retirement, how did you know coaching was for you?
I've always been interested in it, and people always said to me, I think you'll be a manager one day, and managers you've worked for, and just the elder, when you got older and coming towards the end of your career, I'd set up a football academy locally, so I'd been coaching for a few years and take my boys there, and it was just something, it was just a natural progression for me. I went through my coaching badges, and that's just where I see myself. And I had another year at Southend after the Wembley final and done really well, and then I signed for another year, and then halfway through that year things weren't going so smoothly with me and Phil Brown, and I had the opportunity to go to Millwall and coach, and it was, like I said, I was at a stage of my career, I was ready to retire. I was retiring at the club that I love, and had a great opportunity to go and work at Millwall, so it just sort of fell into place nicely.
Yeah. I did wonder if the Mill thing was in the pipeline.
There was a few bits of it. I had a few offers to go and play somewhere else, and I've made the decision to cut my ties with Southend, so that was done. And then the Millwall thing come up after that. The opportunity come up, and like I said, it was to go in as first team development coach. Just finished doing my A licence, and it was perfect. So I was thankful for the opportunity, but also it was exciting, and now the start of my new career, and thoroughly enjoying it.
And how was it for the time you were there with him, supporting Neil Harris?
Yeah, Neil again, I've known, people think I've worked with Neil. I've never worked for Neil before, but I've known him a long time, and he pulled me in, and then me here, to go in there, and after Christmas and my first, 3 or 4 months into the job, and we go and get a promotion at Wembley, beat Bradford. So it was great learning curve for me to go in there, and straight away we was in the playoff mix, and getting all the team prepared, the training prepared, to really be involved in it all was great, and a great experience for myself. And then I've had two and a half really good years with Neil. I'm forever thankful for the opportunity that he gave me to bring me in, and I like to think that I've give them something back as well, give him something back. I really enjoyed working for him and Dave Livermore, and we had a lot of success, to get the promotion, and then the second season just missed out on the playoffs. And then this year it was, last year, sorry. It was a tougher season, but again, we've established the club 2 years in the championship now, coming into the third year. We had a tricky start, but it's a difficult division, and we're not one of the big boys in the division either. And unfortunately, Neil decided to step down. So it was sad to see him go, because I've had 2.5, 3 years, bit of success, and some great days, FA Cup runs, and really enjoyed working for him.
And obviously, when I don't think there's any sort of secret, but obviously when he did step aside, you had the chance to lead the team for a bit.
Yep.
Obviously, first game against Leeds, getting the win. How did all that feel?
It was fantastic to be given the opportunity, and the chairman and the board and everyone put their confidence in me and faith in me to take the team, which was great. The club were adamant, and Neil was adamant that he didn't want me to step down as well. Like, he'd step down, they didn't want me to go. The club and the board wanted me to stay, and I was really enjoying it. And like I said, I'm on my journey now and on my new career, so it was an opportunity which I grabbed with both hands and really enjoyed. I enjoyed preparing the team. It was, you've got the best team in the division coming to you, and it's always a feisty game. Millwall leads, so I packed house at the Den, and to be standing at the front there and leading it was, I was very proud. Very, very proud to do that, and it was an honour to do that. And thankfully, we went and won the game, which was, I wanted to dedicate that one to Neil and Dave because, without them, then I wouldn't have been standing there and taking the team. So it was like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And you can't not, beating one of your big rivals at home in a sellout. Got another, really good day. Yeah.
And overall, how was it being interim? Because I know it was only 3 games, but I spoke to Steve Lovell recently as well, who was interim at Gillingham before he got the job permanently, and he said it's all a bit up in the air. Obviously, you particularly, your name's being sort of shouted around for the permanent job. How has it been interim? Are you sort of just going game by game by game, or did you have further ambitions? And did you want the job permanently?
Well, it was all a bit of a whirlwind, so it was just literally game by game. I just made no secret, I do want to be a manager one day, and I thoroughly enjoyed taking the team. It is different as interim because you haven't got, you don't know how long it's going to last, and you can't really put anything in place because, like I said, you're just working game by game. But thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed structuring the week. I really enjoyed preparing the lads and the team meetings. But it was game by game. The club, the board, the chairman was fantastic with me, and they're very upfront. This is what they were doing. They asked me to go for the interview, which I did, and that's the first time I've ever been for an interview as well. So that was a great experience preparing for that. So I thoroughly enjoyed the process. It just felt right. Like I said, I sort of embraced it, and it felt good. It felt right. Some people step up and don't like it, whereas I stepped up and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then obviously the club made the appointment of Gary, the new gaffer, and it was 100% the right decision to do at that time. Bringing an experienced manager, and it was quite exciting for myself as well to work for someone else and learn off someone else now. Like I said, I've only been coaching now for 3 years. I've been first team coach for 3 years, so to learn off someone else now is only going to benefit me. And the new gaffer's come in. It's been fantastic, and again, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The club's been so supportive. It really is a good football club and run properly, and a lot of good people there. So at the moment, I'm very happy and just enjoying my journey and keep learning.
Yeah, it's been definitely good on the pitch as well since Gary Rowett's been in there, and you never know what might happen if the season does eventually get to end. But how long do you? It's a very open question, but how long do you think it is until you do get one of the sort of get the job permanently? It's some sort of managerial job anywhere.
Oh, well, how long's a piece of string? I don't know. Yeah. I'm really enjoying my job at the moment, and I'm really enjoying working for the gaffer and Callum Davison and Joe, like the staff that he brought in with. They've all been really supportive and good to me, and I'm just enjoying my work. I'm young, 40 years of age, and only been coaching first team now for 3 years, so I'm in no rush to be doing anything. I'm part of Gary's team, and I'm thoroughly enjoying that and working hard and learning all the time. So what will happen in the future, who knows? How long that will be in football, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Things can change pretty quickly, but like I said, at the moment, things are going really well, and hopefully the season's going to get back underway, and we can crack on and have a real push for the playoffs. But like I said, at the moment, I'm just enjoying working for the new manager, and they've been great with me. So long may that continue.
And I'll just ask one final question. As it's a Gillingham channel, could we ever see you back at Gillingham in some form?
Well, who knows? You know, like I said, in football, you never know. All I would say is I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Gillingham. I think I had a good rapport with everyone there. There's some very, very good people at the football club, from top right to bottom. So, you know, you never say never in football.
Yeah. Well, Adam, thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, no problem.
So that's that for this episode of JFG Meets. I'd like to give another huge thank you to Adam for taking the time out of his day to chat to me. Please do like the video if you enjoyed, and feel free to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel as well. Please check out all of our other platforms, which can be found in the description, and do let us know anyone else related to the club that you think we should get on the show in the future. We do have a few episodes lined up already, so keep an eye out for those. See you soon.